is going down next week on the 16th of November is the return of the GOAT. Jon Bones Jones will be defending his title against Stipe Miocic. That's going down on UFC 309. I'm not even gonna lie, man. I'm gassed about this fight. I'm really excited and I can't wait to watch this fight. I think it's gonna be a classic. It's gonna go down as one of the greatest fights of all time in the UFC. I'm really confident of saying this. Do you know what I mean? I really mean it. And I know a lot of people in the MMA community are sleeping on Stipe Miocic. Everyone thinks because he's 42 years old, Jon Jones is the younger man. Jon Jones is going to have his way against Stipe Miocic. But listen to me. Listen when I tell you this. Stipe Miocic, he's no mug, man. Even at 42 years old, listen, this guy is well-rounded. Do you know what I mean? Like he's got every single ability. He's got all the skills to beat Jon Jones. And I'm saying this as a big Jon Jones fan. Do you know what I mean? Like for me, Jon Jones is the GOAT. Like he is the greatest of all time when it comes to this mixed martial arts business. Like Jon Jones is a savage, man. Do you know what I mean? I've been following him from way back, from way back. And trust me, Jon Jones is someone that you don't want to mess with. But this is my reasoning behind this fight. This is why I think this is a dangerous fight for Jon Jones. Simply because the last time we saw Jon Jones fight in a heavyweight division against Ciryl Gane, like really, he didn't even break a sweat. Like I think he beat Ciryl Gane like under a minute. It did not take long, and that was the first time Jon Jones like had his fight at a heavyweight. Do you know what I mean? So he wasn't tested. He wasn't tested. Ciryl Gane, who I respect, by the way, like no disrespect to my man, like I rate Ciryl Gane, but he has no ground game, man. We saw Ciryl Gane when he took on Francis Ngannou, yeah? The guy had no ground game, and this is exactly what happened to him against Jon Jones. Jon Jones, as soon as he took him down, Ciryl Gane had no answers, man. He tapped. As soon as he felt that pressure, that squeeze from Jon Jones, my guy tapped. And the fight wasn't even competitive. A lot of us were disappointed. I was very disappointed. I wanted to see Jon Jones go in there and really get tested, but that wasn't the case. It didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? And he became the UFC heavyweight champion. You know, it's not his fault. It's not Jon Jones' fault. At the end of the day, you can only beat what's in front of you. But now, in this fight, a UFC 309 against the former heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic, Jon Jones has a lot to prove. Do you know what I mean? This ain't gonna be a cakewalk. Stipe Miocic, he will go down as one of the greatest of all time in the heavyweight division as well. Do you know what I mean? He's one of them. He's up there, one of them. He's in the Mount Rushmore, whatever you call it, of the heavyweight division in the UFC. He's definitely up there. And he has the most title defenses in the heavyweight division. He's defended the title 4 times. Think about some of the savages that Stipe Miocic has beaten. He's beaten Daniel Cormier twice with some crazy body shots here. And I think that was like the second time Daniel Cormier has been finished in his whole career. You know what I mean? Stipe Miocic did that. Stipe Miocic beat Francis Ngannou when Francis Ngannou was knocking everyone flat out. Do you know what I mean? Like Stipe Miocic is that guy. And I know we're gonna go back to the age thing. He is older. His last fight, he wasn't a good sight for us. Do you know what I mean? If you remember the last fight, Stipe Miocic, he was defending his title against Francis Ngannou. He got knocked out bad. It was a bad knockout. Do you know what I mean? His legs was all bent. And do you know what I mean? It just wasn't a good sight. It wasn't a good sight. And he hasn't been back in the octagon since then, since 2001, I believe that fight was. So coming up to 3 years, my guy still hasn't fought. So I see the concern. I see the worries of the MMA community. Do you know what I mean? I see why a lot of people are leaning towards Jon Jones. I understand it. I get it. But trust me, yeah, do not underestimate Stipe Miocic. Like this guy, one thing I can say about him, he's well-rounded. He's a well-rounded fight. Jon Jones is not really going to have his own way when it comes to the wrestling. Stipe Miocic is a great wrestler. We know that. We've seen it. So it's not going to be easy for Jon Jones to try and take down Stipe Miocic. When it comes to the stand-up, you know what? He's a savage as well, man. We've seen him stand up against Daniel Cormier, stand up against Francis Ngannou. He stood up against so many other heavyweights in the past, and he's destroyed them, beat them, knocked them out. So it's not gonna be easy. Like Jon Jones, this now is the real fight at heavyweight. This is where he really gets tested. Cyril Gane, like I said in the start, that wasn't a test. That was not a test. Cyril Gane, I just feel like he was already intimidated by Jon Jones. He was scared of Jon Jones going into that fight. I was watching the press conferences, the weigh-in. The guy just didn't look like he was confident. He looked like he was starstruck. He couldn't believe like he's fighting Jon Jones, the GOAT. Do you know what I mean? But with Stipe Miocic, none of that is going to happen. He ain't gonna have that respect for Jon Jones. Like, he's gonna go out there, he's gonna try and take his head off. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, he has to be very disciplined. Yeah, he has to be measured, he has to be calculated, he has to know when to put that pressure, when not to apply the pressure. Do you know what I mean? Even try and go for a takedown. Why not? Stipe Miocic will have to mix it up. He's gonna have to use all his MMA skills to try and beat Jon Jones, because when it comes to this MMA game, ain't nobody, do you know what I mean? Ever beat Jon Jones. So Jon Jones doesn't know how to lose. The only blemish in his record is the disqualification that he had for like illegal elbows. Like that's the only blemish in his resume. This guy is basically undefeated. He's never been beaten inside the octagon. So it's gonna be a hell of a task. It's gonna be tough for Stipe Miocic to pull it off, yeah. But if anyone can do it, I think Stipe Miocic can do it. Do you know what I mean? Only because, yeah, Jon Jones, he's coming up from the light heavyweight division. Do you know what I mean? Even in his last two fights here, when he fought Dominic Reyes, like a lot of people thought Jon Jones lost that fight against Reyes. He did not have it his own way. Me personally, when I watched that fight, I was like, oh, Jon Jones, you got away with that. You got away with that. Do you know what I mean? Because Dominic Reyes put that pressure on him. He didn't show no respect to Jon Jones, and he really went after him. Do you know what I mean? So if Dominic Reyes won that fight, a lot of people won't complain. Let's just say that. A lot of people won't complain. Even against Thiago Santos. Like Thiago Santos had injured his knee during that fight, and he still gave Jon Jones a tough fight. Do you know what I mean? So the last two performances from Jon Jones in the light heavyweight division wasn't the best. And it took him a couple years to just build his body, put some weight up before he fought in the UFC heavyweight division. But he got the win against Cyril Gane. But that wasn't a test. Like I said, this time against the former heavyweight champion, Stipe Miocic. Different ball game, man. This is now where we're going to see what Jon Jones is made of in the heavyweight division. Do you know what I mean? And of course, there's a lot of rumor speculations going on saying that this might be his last ever fight in the UFC. He might call it a day, he might walk away. It might be so, but a lot of people do want to see Jon Jones fight. What's his name? Tom Espino. Whether that's gonna happen, I don't think so. Tom Espino is like the backup fighter. He's training for this fight, so he's the backup. If anything was to happen to Stipe Miocic or Jon Jones, Tom Espino will step in. Now, if Stipe Miocic was to get injured, will Jon Jones fight Tom Espino on a short notice? Now, I don't think so. I don't think he will. Jon Jones is too smart, man. He's like, he prepares real hard for one opponent. Do you know what I mean? He has to study the opponent. He really looks into that opponent and he focuses on them, and he bases his whole training regime, his whole training camp based on that one guy. So Jon Jones, if Stipe Miocic was to get injured, I don't see Jon Jones taking on Tom Espino. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So it's Stipe Miocic or nothing at UFC 309. Like I said, for Stipe Miocic to win this fight, to hand Jon Jones his first ever defeat in UFC 309, he has to have almost the perfect fight. Almost the perfect fight. Now, when it comes to power, I think, to be honest with you, yeah, Stipe Miocic probably has the power in the heavyweight division. In this fight, he's gonna carry that power. He can KO Jon Jones. Jon Jones never been dropped. Do you know what I mean? He's never been KO'd, nothing like that. None of that. But Stipe Miocic will have that heavyweight advantage in this fight. Jon Jones, I don't think Jon Jones is one of them fighters. Yeah, he's a GOAT. He's definitely like brilliant. He's got all the skills. He's got them low kicks, high kicks, the elbows, spinning elbows. He's got everything. He can mix it up really, really good. That's what makes Jon Jones the GOAT, because when things start going hard, do you know what I mean? When things get tough for him, he can mix it up. He can rely on his wrestling. He can, you know, slow the fight down. One thing about Jon Jones that I've actually realized over the years just watching his fight, he basically controls the pace of the fight. That's what he's good at. Yeah, he dictates the pace of the fight. Now, if Stipe Miocic allows Jon Jones to dictate the pace of the fight, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. He can't dance to Jon Jones' music. Do you know what I mean? He has to offset that. He has to put that pressure on. But like I said, he has to be calculated pressure. He has to be measured. He has to be smart. Otherwise, he might gas out. Stipe Miocic might gas out. But the only thing is, I'm going to go back. This is where I think this is an interesting fight. We've never really seen at heavyweight Jon Jones go past the first round. We've never seen him. We don't know how he's going to be. He's put on so much weight. Don't forget, this isn't the light heavyweight division. This is the heavyweight division. Stipe Miocic, he's the naturally heavyweight. He's the bigger guy. He's always been the bigger guy. So he's used to this weight class. He's used to doing 5 rounds, going into championship rounds when everyone's sweating, everyone's tired. He's used to that. We saw him against Daniel Cormier. We've seen him multiple times. Francis Ngannou. Stipe Miocic has been there and done that. On the other hand, Jon Jones, at this weight class, has never done it. You know what I mean? Had an easy win against Cyril Gane. Yeah, but now what happens if Jon Jones goes second round, third round, fourth round, carrying all that weight? How effective would Jon Jones be at them championship rounds? That I think that's when the experience of Stipe Miocic might take over that fight. Because he's been there, he's done it, he's seen it so many times, he's faced so many different type of opponents. Can Jon Jones keep up with Stipe Miocic when he gets to these championship rounds? I'm saying that's if he gets there. Jon Jones might end in the first round again. He might just go out there, obliterate Stipe Miocic, and we're gonna be like, oh my God, that was so easy. We need to see Jon Jones against someone else. Do you know what I mean? We might actually come to say that, but I don't see Jon Jones finishing Stipe Miocic early. I just don't see it. I think Stipe Miocic has had all this time out. Do you know what I mean? He has had all this time to focus, really study the tapes, study Jon Jones, and he's not going to go out there and lose in the first round. I just don't see it. I think it's going to be more calculated. It's going to be well prepared, well drilled. Yeah, that is going to be one of those matches where in the first and second round, it might even be just a tactical battle, just a mental, someone trying to gain that mental edge between the two fighters. It's going to be so fascinating, so interesting. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to this fight, because Jon Jones, he wins this fight, he beats arguably the greatest heavyweight, champion ever in the UFC, in Stipe Miocic, because he's got the most defenses. He's got 4 title defenses. No one's ever done that in the heavyweight division. Jon Jones beats him, even if he's 42 years old. I don't think Jon Jones will care about what people say. He doesn't listen to what people say. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a monkeys, yeah? Jon Jones will look at that. If he beats Stipe Miocic, he's going to be, yo, my legacy is cemented. I'm done. Don't be surprised if Stipe Miocic goes out there and proves you off, even knocks out Jon Jones. It might even happen. It might happen. So it's going to be fascinating. But my prediction is Jon Jones wins on point. And I'm going to say this because I just feel the youthness. Stipe Miocic hasn't fought since 2021. The last time we saw him in the octagon, he got knocked out. So I just feel like most of the advantages are with Jon Jones. And I feel like Jon Jones is not going to be a submission or a knockout victory. I think Jon Jones will win on points. He will go the whole 5 rounds and Jon Jones will win on points. But don't be surprised if Stipe Miocic pulls it out the bag and knocks him out, man. Knocks out Jon Jones, man. It could happen. It could happen. Now, if this fight was 3-4 years ago, listen, I think Stipe Miocic should be favorite, because he was younger, he was still fast, he still carried that speed and everything else. But right now, I give the slight edge to Jon Jones. But I'm not saying he's the outright favorite the way some people are talking about it now. Not to me. Do you know what I mean? A slight edge to Jon Jones. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fascinating fight, and I just can't wait. I really can't wait for it. It's going to be a great fight, great card, UFC 309. I can't wait for it, man. I can't wait for it. Let me know what you think. Let's have a conversation in the comments. You know what I mean? Drop a comment below. Let me know, who do you think is going to win this fight? Are you going for Jon Jones? Do you know what I mean? Because he's younger, or he's just a GOAT, you just appreciate all his skill set? Or do you think Stipe Miocic, the former heavyweight champion in the UFC, yeah, even at 42 years old, do you think he can pull it out the bag? Let me know in the comments, man. Let's talk about it. I really appreciate it. Once again, thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports. I'm your boy Enzo. Please also don't forget, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll really appreciate that. You're going to help the channel to grow. I'm aiming, my target is to get to 500 subs by Christmas. And I can only do that with your help. I can only do that with your support. You showing love, liking, commenting, and subscribing and sharing all my vids. That's going to really help the channel to grow. And listen, I would really appreciate that. So go ahead now, if you're new to the channel, hit that subs button. Let's do this thing. Let's grow the channel. Let's build together. Thank you so much for your support, man. You know what I mean? I'll be back again real soon. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, the rest of your week, whatever you're doing. Have fun. Have a great time at it. I'll see you back real soon. Until then, peace.